Okay, so welcome everybody to today's class. Today, sorry for starting out late. So I was kind of stuck in traffic in a way. So that's why I couldn't meet up with 8 o'clock. So those for data science, we started, I think last week, and so far I've been able to introduce you guys to what data science is and the tools that you need for a successful journey as a data scientist or a data analyst, depending on the path that you eventually choose. So aside having the right tools for learning, there are some basic things you need to know. I guess every one of us here, we did basic mathematics in maybe secondary school, or some of us that are graduates, we did mathematics in our university courses. So I don't want to assume that you actually know them. If not, we would have started coding Python right away. But there are some resources which I have to give to you guys, and different persons have different method of learning best. For me personally, I prefer to read books first before watching any video. If I'm to watch any video, but everybody's different. Everybody's built different. So the material I'm going to be sending to you guys, it's 100% video resources, and you just have to make sure you watch it, because I don't want any gap in you guys' knowledge. I just want to make sure that you guys are grounded in all aspects, because this aspect of being a data scientist is something that you cannot neglect. You just have to make sure that you know it. In fact, you can't skip it, because if you should skip it now, it's definitely going to haunt you. So I'll start sharing my screen right now. Then I'll introduce you guys to it. So I'm not teaching today. I just want to introduce you guys to the resources I'm going to share to you guys. So if you can see my screen, just type on the chat box that you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please type on the chat box, let me know. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Okay. So I'll proceed. So at the end of today's class, I'm going to send you guys the YouTube link. I would have done a tutorial on each topic on this particular aspect of statistics, but there's no point reinventing the wheel. So from experience, I've watched different videos, I've learned from different resources. So I'm giving you guys the best resources. I think it will help you to learn what you are trying to learn right now. So let me just quickly share with you guys. So by the end of this class, I'm going to send you guys the link to this particular YouTube playlist. A playlist is a collection of YouTube videos. This playlist was made by Khan Academy. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Khan Academy. So it's like a learning platform whereby they teach all sort of stuff, really ranging from mathematics, physics, chemistry, and the likes. But what concerns us right now is the aspect of statistics. And this playlist has 67 videos. Trust me, all the ones we'll be doing last week, everything we'll be doing last week, those are just we'll be playing so far. And from today henceforth, it's going to get intense. Yes, I'm not saying this to scare you, but get ready. So some of you that have been playing, so I have my reasons why I've been taking it slowly from day one, because I just want to make sure that you guys are fully zoned in before we kick off, like really intense. Because the method I'm going to be using is that I'll teach to some extent, and I'll give you guys projects to apply everything you've learned, because learning without application is rubbish. The more you apply what you learn, the more it sticks and the better you understand. So I'll just walk you guys through everything we're going to be doing. So the videos, when you watch them, it will be easier for you to understand. So even if you are in science, or you are in social science, or you are in arts, whatever background you have, you guys did basic mathematics. And you don't need to be a university graduate or a master or PhD student for you to understand all these things here. So it's basically easy to understand. So as you can see, it has 67 videos, and the topics ranges from average, which is under descriptive statistics, probability and statistics, sample and population mean, variance of population, probability and statistics as well, then sample variance, standard deviation, alternate variance formula, introduction to random variables, probability density functions, and the likes. Please make sure you go through these videos. But even if you can't cover everything, but at least make sure you go through the first to the, let me see, the first to the 40th video. So from video number 1 to video number 40, make sure you don't skip it. And the length is not much. The video length is not much. I think this is 9 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 11 minutes. So starting from this evening or tomorrow, you have now till Thursday next week to finish the videos. Please make sure you finish it, because when we start programming in Python and when we start applying Python for data science, because learning the Python programming language, Python can be used in different aspects of technology. You can use it for web development, data science. But this time around, I'm going to teach you guys general Python. Then I'm also going to teach you guys the Python you use as a data scientist. So when we start saying some certain terms and start using some certain terms during class as time progresses, you are going to need the knowledge you get from learning this aspect of statistics. So make sure you cover from video number 1 to video number 40. And if you are serious enough with it, some persons might be able to finish everything in 2 days, 3 days, but I just have to give you guys enough time to make sure you learn it and you know what you are learning and you know and you assimilate it. So it's most times it's not about how far, it's about how well. So make sure you learn it. The videos are easy to understand. I have used them before in the past, and I think it will also help you a lot and also refresh your memory in terms of statistics. Yes. So after the class, I'm going to send a link to this playlist on the Discord channel so that you guys can start learning as soon as possible. But classes hold as scheduled. So I think that will be all for today. Then I'm going to unmute this. I'm going to unmute you guys so that you can ask me any questions you've been wanting to ask me so far, and if possible, your feedback so far, and if you are facing any challenges and anything that you think it might be good to share with the community, and anything you feel I should know, please kindly ask. And this is a learning community, so we are here to learn from each other. And so let me unmute you guys. So if you have any question, kindly unmute yourself and ask the question. So you can now unmute yourself and ask any question that you want to. So feel free, don't be shy. Just say your mind, say anything. Say anything that you feel like you want us to know. So if you have any question, please unmute yourself. Questions, guys? Nobody is asking. I'm going to pick somebody and ask you. Since nobody wants to ask, I'll scroll through the participants and I'll pick somebody. So, and you must answer me. Yes. I think the first person that joined us, Ejiba Chichi. So please unmute yourself, and I want to ask you questions. Since you guys don't want to ask me. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm okay. So we spoke about data science and analysis. I just want to know, like, is it possible to do this science without the coding? What's the difference between the two?
Okay. Just please be audible because I could barely hear you so that other persons can
Okay.
hear you.
I said you spoke about data sciences and also being a data analyst. So I'm saying, what's the difference? Is it possible to do the data science without coding, or you can just be a data analyst?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay. So that's a very good question. For you to be a data scientist, I'll explain what each aspect actually means. But for you to be a data scientist, if it works in stages. You first have to learn data analysis before you progress to be a data scientist. I would say data scientist is kind of the advanced stage of it. So let me just quickly show you guys something. So what is the work of a data analyst? Let me use this as an illustration. For instance, let's say you are working for maybe a hospital. I know any hospital you're working with, they have patient record. For instance, they have like the record of, let's use malaria, for instance. Let me use malaria as a case study. Because I'm closer to University of Benin Teaching Hospital, so UBTH, let me use UBTH as a case study. Say, for instance, you're a data analyst, you can go to University of Benin Teaching Hospital if they'll be willing to give you data of all their patients that had malaria from 2020 to 2022. If they should give you the data can come in different formats. The data can be stored using maybe in an Excel table, like an Excel spreadsheet, or the data can be in their database, or it can be stored manually. Being a Nigerian, most times having access to data can be difficult. Why? Because most of the companies or most of the institutions, they are still way back in terms of computing things digitally. They still use analog method. But just let me use having your data on an Excel spreadsheet, for instance. So let's say, okay, you go to UBTH and say, please, I need the record of everybody you've treated that had malaria, for instance. And let's say they give it to you, and you have the Excel spreadsheet of all the patients, like all the malaria patients and the treatments. If you should look at those data with your naked eyes, it might not make sense to you. Why? Because you see the patient, there will be a column for patient name, maybe the age of the patient, the symptoms the patient had, different columns for you understand. Like, let's say the first column has the name of the patient, obviously, the patient's age, the symptoms the patient had, the location of the patient, as other, let me say, other fields as possible. Then you as a data analyst, you want to gain insights from it. There are different things you can gain from it. You can draw out from that data. Being a data analyst is like, the essence of being a data analyst is to gain insights from data that doesn't make sense originally to you. You could see those data and say, okay, I want to plot a graph or a chart of all the patients. I want to see how many of those patients are male, how many of those patients are female. Then for the male category, those that are children, those that are maybe adults, then the number of persons that died as a result of malaria, the number of persons that survived, and the symptoms. So these are the things that being a data analyst can actually do. So you could gain insight, you could draw out insights from data. You understand? So that's the work of a data analyst, to analyze data, to gain insight. And why do you want to even gain insight? First of all, most times you want to gain insight so that you can make important and positive decisions. If, for instance, after getting insights from those data, you see that majority of the persons that have malaria are children. I'm just assuming, let's say majority of the persons that have malaria are children. So what can you do with that, with those data? You could like kind of, okay, you could give that data to maybe an NGO or a company or any institution that want to spread awareness for malaria and the effect and how it affects and the fatality rate and stuff like that. So you could give them and they'll know that, okay, since majority of the persons that have these malaria symptoms and majority of persons that have suffered from these malaria symptoms, they are children, you could focus more on the children and sensitize them and give them, like, make them aware of what malaria is and how deadly it actually is. So I'm just using malaria as a case study. It could be data from any source. I want to give another example. Like I finished from University of Benin, and so I read engineering. For instance, I could take the list of everybody that JAMB admitted into the University of Benin. I want to see which schools have more persons in engineering. Then the categories like how many males are in engineering, how many female are in engineering, which department has the highest number of admitted students. Those are things I could actually gain insights from as a data analyst. And for you to be a data analyst, you don't need to have like deep, like advanced or high skill level of Python programming language. You just need to know Python for data analysts or data scientists, or for data science, you understand? So you can't run away from programming, but the programming you're actually doing is not programming that will kill you or programming that will make you lose your mind, you understand? So that's why I'm actually here to teach you guys. Then after maybe you are proficient enough as a data analyst, you could now say, okay, I want to become a data scientist. For you to become a data scientist, you just have to make sure that you understand, in fact, you have the knowledge of a data analyst. You can't skip it. So it's in stages. So after you've learned the data analyst part, you can also, okay, I want to go into the data science part. What do data scientists do? Data scientists, in fact, they are overall, like they do everything. Among the things they do is that sometimes you see a company, they will tell you, we are looking for a data scientist. Most times, being a data scientist doesn't mean you can't do the work of a data analyst. You can be employed as a data scientist, but you're actually doing the work of a data analyst. So I'll tell you what the data scientists do. A data scientist, they are responsible for building models. For example, now I could give you a data, I'll tell you, can you please predict for me the cost of housing in maybe Lagos State, Nigeria, for instance? I'll give you all sorts of data, and the data will include data for different locations in Lagos, how many bedrooms, the type of house, if it's a bungalow or if it's a story building, and the prices. So I'm going to use a model, a machine learning algorithm to analyze those data that you gave to me, so that when somebody wants to like look for a house and you give me the specification, you could tell me, I want the house to be in Lekki, I want the house to be a 2-bedroom flat, and I want I would prefer a house whereby it's a story building. Due to the data I've given to the machine learning model can be able to predict, give me an estimate of what the cost will be like. So data scientists, they build models, and the models could either be maybe a regression model, a classification model, a model that have to do with clustering, or you are trying to build a recommendation system model like Netflix, a model that can be able to recommend movies for you. You understand? So a data scientist, basically, initially, what they're supposed to be doing is supposed to be building models and getting data, but we live in a world whereby even if you're a data scientist, you just have to still have knowledge of a data analyst. But you could get a job as a data analyst, though. There are persons that all they do is just to analyze data. They don't do more than that. There are also persons that all they do is to build machine learning models. That's what they do. There's also another aspect called data engineer. Data engineer, those guys are responsible for their initial job role was to get data, like you could source for data using a database. You could get data from using a method known as web scraping. Like I could say, okay, let me use which popular tech channel. I don't know if you guys know of TechCrunch. TechCrunch is like one of the major and most popular tech community and tech websites whereby you could get news of what is happening. I could say, okay, I could build an algorithm or that will be able to scrape all the news for today and send it to me directly. So sometimes you could as well want to get data from different sources. It could be getting data from a website, getting data from a database. Yes, you could get data from a database. Maybe the company you're working for, they have a database and you want to get some information from a database. Usually it's the work of a data engineer, but my goal after these 300 days of code is that you could function either as a data analyst or a data scientist or a data engineer, but just know that a data scientist can actually do everything, being data analyst or data engineering or data science. So being a data scientist is like the peak of it, like the last stage of it. Why? Because before you have to become a data scientist, you have to have the knowledge of getting data engineering, data analysis, you understand? So I don't really want to go too deep into it, because if there are some things, maybe I don't know your background as maybe a data science enthusiast, but I don't want to go too deep with this. But as time goes on, you are going to learn everything, starting from data analysis stage, where you'll be using some libraries and some framework for plotting charts, graph, such as Seaborn, Plotly, Matplot library, and the rest, you understand? But after the 300 days of code, even if they say they are looking for a data scientist, you could apply. If they say they are looking for a data analyst, you could apply. If they say you are looking for a data engineer, you could apply. Why? Because you actually have the knowledge of everything. And why it is good is that you don't have to restrict yourself to being a data analyst alone. If you have time and you feel you could learn it, what's the point of holding yourself back? You understand? So make sure you follow the class from day 1 to day 300, which I think you have been doing. And also put in the time, like I specified, 1 hour daily, you understand? So 1 hour is more than enough for you. But if you have 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, if you can do more than that, fine. But stick to 1 hour for a start, so that you will not get tired and your motivation will not drop. You understand? So it's a gradual process. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Chichi. So is there another question that you want to ask?
Yes, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, no, you're welcome. So any other
question?
You said any other question?
No questions, no questions.
Okay, that's good. So is there any other person that need clarification? If you have any question, please unmute yourself and ask me the question you want to ask. I'll pick somebody to ask me. Yes, let me look for trouble. What am I going to ask? Let me ask a guy this time around. Emmanuel Annie. Yes. Emmanuel, please unmute yourself. I can't hear you. Please be audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today? Please, can you please place your mic close to your mouth so that I can hear you? I can hear you clearly. I can't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes,
okay,
I can hear you now. So
how
are you doing?
I'm doing well. We've been having light issues now, so it has been limiting me and all this practice and everything. But we are pushing.
Okay.
So the question I have is, how deep concerning learning statistics and probability? How deep do you have to go into statistics and probability to be able to fully understand how to use and implement all these machine learning models and become a full data scientist? Like, how deep do you have to go? Do you have to learn everything in statistics and probability, or are there just some certain concepts you have to learn?
Okay, so that's a very good question. You don't have to go too deep. As you can see, that's why during the at the beginning of this class, when I sent this playlist of videos that I think you have to watch, I just limited it to video number 1 to video number 40. The essence why I sent it, so that it will be a refresher to you, because I don't want to quiz anybody right now, but just imagine me asking somebody, what do they understand by average? You understand? Some persons might not be able to tell me. So how do you expect to carry out a data analysis work or as a data scientist, and I give you a data and I tell you what is the average age of persons with malaria? If, for example, now I have like 10 persons, maybe age, and their age is ranging from 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 14 years, 20 years, and I ask you what is the average age? Average age, I'm just saying, what I'm saying is the mean, the sum of all the values of X all over the total number. So if, for example, you have like 10 persons, 10 age, I could just sum the age of all 10 persons all over 10, and you give me the average. But if you don't know those basics like average, frequency, median, and the rest, how do you expect to even carry out the data analysis work? You understand? So that's why I would have said, okay, let us continue with this tutorial and just keep going. I don't want to assume that you guys know some certain things. That's why I don't want to like leave any gap in your knowledge. So that's why I just have to like tell you, make sure you watch this. But there are some basics you have to know when you are starting at. While as you go deeper in your quest of learning data science, you can now pick up other things as you learn. You understand? Sometimes you learn some things on the job. You can't learn everything. If you want to learn everything from the beginning, trust me, you will not grow. And there's something they call imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that like that feeling whereby you feel you are not good enough and you want to learn everything before you even attempt. Trust me, there are some persons that are working in big tech companies. They are not as good as you guys. You understand? You don't have to wait for you to be a master before you start applying what you know, or before you start applying for a job, or before you start teaching, or before you start doing anything at all. You don't have to be a master. Make sure you learn the basics and build on it. Yes, learn the basics, but don't stop at the basics. Build on it and learn. You understand? The playlist, this statistics playlist is always here. As time goes on, when you have free time, you could learn any new concept you want to, but you don't have to learn everything. Just learn the videos that are recommended and keep on learning. Learning never stops. The moment you stop learning, you start dying. You understand? So learn the basics. It's the basics, that's all you need to know at this early stage. Then as time goes on, when you have time, you can now build on it. So you don't have to be a master of statistics because yes, mathematics, the field of mathematics is wide, and there are persons that they major in statistics. That's in fact that's what they study. They major in statistics, that's what they read, that's all they do. So if you want to say you want to learn everything about statistics, trust me, you finish this year, you just be learning statistics and you will not finish and you will never do the major thing you're supposed to do. You understand? So you don't have to go too deep. Just learn enough that will make sure that you are able to tackle some certain problem. The basics is all you need for this class. You understand? But I don't want to limit you guys to the basics. You can as well build on what you've learned. So hope I've answered your question, Emmanuel.
Yeah, you have. I've gotten it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I think we have 7 minutes more. We'll take one more question. Who am I going to pick? Let me scan through. Okay, let me call somebody. Daffy. Yes. Even if it's not a question, you can just say anything, like anything you want to say at all, even if it's a suggestion or a recommendation or anything at all that is on your mind that you just want us to know. If it's a question, you can ask as well. So please unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, I can hear you.
Okay, for me, I don't really have any questions, so I just want to appreciate you for all you've been doing for us because it's not easy. We just want to appreciate you for this opportunity because it's not everybody that can do what you're actually doing for us. A lot of us, we've been looking for opportunities like this, but we've not seen it. So we really do appreciate you. Also about the videos you were talking about, you said about 60 videos also, right?
Yeah, there are 67, but you don't have to watch everything. Just watch the recommended one. I think video number 1 to 40. But even if it's video number 1 to 10, you can watch so that you just refresh your memory on statistics.
Okay. I get that. So I don't really have any questions. So I just want to, on behalf of everybody, I just want to commend you for the good work you are doing. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure serving you guys. So,
Thank you.
yes. Then somebody's raising his hand. Obineto Opara. Okay. You can ask a question.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, I was listening to when you were answering the first lady, and when she asked about if data science will also require coding, he said yes, but it's not going to be the coding that will bust our head.
Yes.
So I'm not asking which one is the coding that is going to bust our head, because this one is not going to bust our head.
so you are in Nigerian, I guess. So I had to use that expression because there are different levels to programming. You have the basic, the intermediate, and the advanced level. There are some aspects of programming that are very deep. So those are not the programming you are going to be learning. You are just going to learn the basics and how to apply them. And moreover, as a data scientist or a data analyst, you are basically going to be using libraries, Python libraries. So for you to be able to use those Python libraries like Pandas, NumPy, and the rest, those libraries were actually built using the Python programming language, you understand? So in a situation whereby I show you how to do some certain stuff using those libraries, let's say Pandas, for instance, your knowledge of, since those libraries were written using and they were built using Python, your basic knowledge of Python will help you to understand how to use those tools. You understand? Because the mistake most people make is that they go on to learn a library or a framework without actually learning the language they use in building those framework. You understand? So that's why you have to learn the basics and, if possible, a little of the intermediate stage so that you can actually tackle some certain problems. So it's not the programming language that I'm not going to tell you to go and build a mobile app. I'm not going to tell you to go and write a library of your own or a framework of your own. If you can do that, fine. Yes, but don't limit yourself. But don't be scared. Programming is fun. Programming is sweet, actually. That's why I'm here, to guide you and to prevent you from making mistakes, which I made while I was starting back then. Yes, because the issue most people have is that you see, there's one thing about tech is that you can be learning and learning off track. In fact, you'll be learning something that is not even relevant. You'll just be learning rubbish. And time is of essence here. You can be wasting your time and be learning something that doesn't even concern you. You understand? You don't have that time to waste, because time is very important and time is precious. You don't have that time to waste. So that's why I'll be guiding you to be telling you this is what you learn this, learn this. Don't learn this for now, learn this and stuff like that. So that's why I'm here to guide you on what to learn and what not to learn. So even if after the 300 days of code, you cannot build on what you've learned and you cannot advance your skill, you understand? But just see this year as a year whereby you are going to learn a lot and you become better compared to last year, you understand? So when you say the programming aspect, don't be scared of programming. Programming is fun. Programming is actually sweet. You understand? So don't be scared. We're all here together. We're all here to help ourselves. And by the end of the 300 days of code, I hope you become a better version of yourself and you'll be happy that you started with us. So hope I've been able to answer your question, Opara.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You answered my question. Thank you.
All right. I think we have 1 minute 57 seconds left. So that's all for today, class. By the end of this meeting, I'm going to send a recording of this class to the Discord server for those that were not here with us, so that you can actually rewatch it and just get an overview of everything we discussed. You understand? So feel free to chat me up anytime when you feel like you have clarification. And don't be shy when you're asking questions. Don't be shy and don't feel anybody will laugh at you. It's better they laugh at you and you learn than you just, because of pride or you don't want people to laugh at you and you just keep it to yourself and you end up not knowing it. Yes, don't be shy and don't be ashamed of asking questions. There's nothing like a stupid question. There's no stupid question when it comes to learning. All questions are valid. So thanks for today's class, and I hope to see you guys in future classes. Have a nice day.